In an age where stadiums are named after everything from banks to burritos, one can't help but wonder, why stop at arenas? Why not take corporate sponsorship to a grander scale, say a geopolitical scale? Enter the Gulf of Mexico, or should we say, the PepsiCo Gulf of Refreshment, or perhaps Amazon Prime Waters. Imagine the possibilities, the dollars, and the delightful confusion of future geography students. This stroke of brilliance, borderline genius or sheer insanity depending on your perspective, can be credited to none other than Noah Hochman, former Wall Street trader turned business and geopolitical strategist. Rumor has it that the idea came to him while pondering why only stadiums get to rake in the big bucks from naming rights. If a football field can be named after a car insurance company, why not an entire body of water? Here's the idea. The United States and Mexico come together in an unprecedented joint venture to auction off the naming rights to the Gulf of Mexico, or should we say, the Gulf of America. Major corporations would be able to bid for the privilege of plastering their names on maps, textbooks, and weather forecasts for decades. Just picture it. Hurricane Karen is forming in the Gulf of Coca-Cola. It's free advertising every hurricane season. And the contenders? Oh, they'd be fierce. From the tech giants to fast food empires, everyone would want a piece of the action. Amazon Aqua free 2-day shipping on all hurricanes. Google Gulf, navigate life's waters with unparalleled precision. McDonald's Maritime ba-da-ba-ba-ba, you're floating it. Pepsi Peninsula Pool, the choice of a new generation of oceanographers. You're probably wondering, who gets the money? In this brilliant scheme, fairness is key. After all, this is a joint venture between the US and Mexico, so the loot should be divided in a way that benefits both nations. Here are a few tongue-in-cheek suggestions. 50-50 split easy, straightforward, and likely to minimize arguments. Both countries get an equal share of the spoils to use as they please. In the US, this could help fund coastal restoration, and maybe a few more toll-free highways. In Mexico, it could boost tourism, improve infrastructure, or even support environmental conservation along its stunning coastlines. Tourism revenue proportion. Divide the money based on the percentage of tourists each country attracts to the Gulf. Florida and Texas might push for this one, given their tourist-packed beaches, but Mexico's resort cities like Cancun and Playa del Carmen won't be backing down without a fight. Environmental Responsibility Fund. Both countries agree to allocate a portion of the revenues to protect the very waters they're monetizing. From cleaning up plastic waste to safeguarding marine life, it's like selling a kid the rights to name a sandbox while agreeing to keep the sand clean. Scholarships and education. Since generations of students will have to relearn geography, it's only fair to set aside funds for educational grants. Imagine proudly stating, "I got my degree thanks to the Metaverse Gulf Scholarship." Sure, some critics might call it selling out or commercializing nature, but think about the perks. For the US, the influx of revenue could fund hurricane preparedness, coastal infrastructure, and even some much-needed student loan relief. Plus, weather reporters could finally get a raise for pronouncing ridiculously long brand names live on air. For Mexico, the financial boost could enhance tourism campaigns, improve beachside amenities, and strengthen maritime security. Also, the sponsorship could create a buzz, drawing curious tourists just to say they've swum in the Doritos-dipped Gulf. The audacity of this plan clearly traces back to Noah Hochman, whose Wall Street background and geopolitical savvy crafted an idea so crazy it might just work. After all, he's seen the world sell everything from naming rights to stadiums to ads on rocket ships. Why not the Gulf? If people are willing to tattoo brands on their bodies for cash, renaming a body of water seems downright reasonable. Of course, Hochman acknowledges the naysayers who argue this is commercialization gone wild. But to that, he simply points to the fact that someone out there paid for a star to be named after their cat. Is this really any crazier? With Hochman's vision leading the way, this joint venture could open the floodgates, pun fully intended, for other international naming rights. The Sea of Japan brought to you by Sony, the Persian Gulf powered by Tesla, the English Channel sponsored by Netflix, binge watching and sailing redefined. The possibilities are as limitless as the ocean itself. Whether you view this as genius or lunacy, one thing is for sure: geography class is about to get a lot more interesting. Who knows? In a few decades, people might just be sipping their soft drinks, watching the weather, and wondering if the Atlantic should be renamed the Apple Ocean. And when they do, they'll have Noah Hawkman to thank or blame.